This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, I can't believe I'm about to say this. We review The Flash.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the movie exists. It came out. Plus, Kraven the Hunter trailer reaction. Disney delays the Avatar sequels and Marvel movies. We remember the legendary Marvel Comics artist John Romita Sr. Jack Kirby's son is not a fan of the new Stan Lee documentary. Marvel may have the Hulk movie rights back, and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, June 19th, 2023.
Hey, it's Michael Rosenbaum, and you are listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. Why? Because you, my friend, need to keep up with all the latest superhero and comic book TV and movie news. And nobody brings it like these guys do. Check them out.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jock it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Hey, what is happening, listener? How's it going? Thanks for pressing play, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name is Anthony.
He is the Jock.
And he is the nerd. Why are you saying it like you're talking so weird?
He is. Sometimes I like to switch it up just to keep people on their toes. Maybe they're like, is he having a stroke right now? I don't know. I'm going to tune in and find out.
It's as if there's a period after every word you're saying.
Maybe I'm AI generated. Is this even a real person? You're going to have to keep listening. Here's a real person joining us. People, he is more dangerous than the Reverse Flash, more dangerous than the Dark Flash. It is the Prolapse Rug Boy. Oh, yeah.
They call me the reach around Flash.
That yellow shit ain't lightning coming off of him. Look out.
It's pee coming out of my suit.
The reach
That's an old
around
callback.
Flash.
Yeah.
I like that. Yes. You like that callback? Anyways, how's the slack hole, Rugs? It's not, I didn't.
I tightened it up a little bit.
Okay. High and tight. Great.
Stitching, yeah.
All right. Well, look, we got a big comic book movie to discuss and a couple of fun things in the news. Let's get to it, you bastards.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
We'll start with this relatively breaking news, and I only say that because it just came out on the day we record, but you're going to hear this like 2 days later, so it is what it is. You've probably seen it by now.
It is what it is, you bastards.
It is. Come on, you bastards.
Lame.
I am talking about the trailer, official trailer for Sony's Kraven the Hunter. It's part of their Spider-Man-less Sony's Spider-Man universe, whatever they're calling it over there. There was what I saw happen was that it leaked on Twitter, and then they just did the smart thing and just put the fucking thing out. Maybe it was going to come out today, but I watched the leak and then I watched the Red Band trailer. And yeah, boy, is it Red Band.
It's basically a movie shart.
It's yes, the whole thing with the trailer. That's what trailers.
It was
are.
a leak, and then they had to.
Yes, they're like, oh, it came out. Okay, well, just fucking drop it. Just plop it.
Yeah,
plop it in the toilet. It's gonna have.
They
to come
sharted
out.
the Kraven the Hunter trailer.
Yes, of course we have Aaron Taylor Johnson playing Kraven,
and Jonathan Taylor Thomas plays.
That's the kid from Home Improvement. Yeah. Aaron Taylor Johnson and Russell Crowe playing his dad.
I didn't know he was in this.
Russell Crowe adds a little bit of gravitas here. Quick recap of what they're showing us is Russell Crowe is a hunter, and the young Sergey, I guess that's him. His mom dies, and he's being trained to shoot lions, and lion mauls him. His dad leaves him for dead. Blood goes into Sergey and now connects him with animals, and he's hunting people, and some other things happen, and it's Aaron Taylor Johnson in a leather vest with no shirt. I don't know how I feel about this. The Red Band trailer had a lot of violence. There's some great blood. There's a whole fucking bear trap to the face quick shot that I thought, I was like, oh, but this thing where he has powers is weird, and it is R-rated, but there's no Spider-Man. There's spiders. There's no Spider-Man. Anthony, what do you make of this?
I'm not the Kraven expert that I'm sure you guys are more knowledgeable on than I am. That being said, I did see the Red Band trailer. The only thing this movie has going for it is it's an R-rated superhero flick.
Yeah.
But I was looking up on Wikipedia because I was like, wait a minute, did he get bit by a radioactive lion? What the fuck is this shit?
Yes.
And I looked it up online, and he does have powers, but he gets them from some sort of plants or potions.
Oh, that's right. I thought he was just well trained, but he is
that
stronger.
too, but,
yeah.
But that too, but
He starts doing like monkey shit and crawling on walls.
Yeah, he's like running on like, what is happening here?
So the theme with these Sony villain spin-offs and just what they've been doing with when they make movies is they're just obsessed with animal human hybrid or blood being infected. You know, you have Venom, you have Morbius, and now you're doing Kraven.
That is interesting. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
I bet we'd be willing to bet a good amount of money that there's no way this movie's any good or makes any money.
I mean, it looked, Ruggs, what'd you think? It looked kind of
It's
generic.
dead on arrival.
Is this look worse? Can this be worse than Morbius? Is it not morbing time?
Like, if you're like, if it's on Netflix and you got nothing to watch, you
this
throw
is
it
a
on.
complete Netflix looking movie
I
right here.
feel like, I feel like it's a fine film. It'll be fine in that regard. But I think when you're putting it up to like good movies, like that are big releases, like this is going to be dead on arrival. His abs will sell some tickets. Like I know that's possible, but I don't think it's enough. First of all, the mustache is not respectable.
And he doesn't. Well, he doesn't have an accent. I always thought Kraven had
come
an
on,
accent.
like we just watched RRR with probably one of the most epic mustaches
Strong
that you're
stash,
ever going to see on
Yeah.
screen, and Kraven should be at least like halfway there.
But
and it's not.
Ruggs, in the Red Band trailer, he bites a dude's nose off.
He does.
And he spits it out.
And he spits it out. He doesn't eat it, but it's quite a thing.
Before you dive into anything, I want to get back to. He gets bit by a radioactive lion. Is this what they're doing? What is this? Or is it just a lion and he gets bit and they're now saying you can get bit by lions and
that lion looks
get powers?
terrible, by the way.
The lion, look, there's a better tiger in RRR, but the blood, he gets bit, but then you see his blood drop into an open wound. I don't think the lion has powers. And then suddenly, like, he can track people like wolves and he's all fast and cunning. And I don't understand what's going on here. He doesn't have a Russian accent.
Look, superhero and comic book origins, they're stupid. All right, they're usually stupid, but like there's always some kind of X factor that creates like the realm of possibilities. Like if this tiger or this lion was like shot up with some drug or something, and then the blood gets in it.
Okay,
like,
maybe.
Okay,
Yeah.
But if it's just a regular lion and the blood goes in it, we know that nothing happens.
Well, here's the thing, too, Ruggs, is 2 weeks ago, you made the statement that Sony, with Beyond the Spider-Verse, is doing better than Marvel in terms of honoring the canon. And yet, the same studio that produces Beyond the Spider-Verse...
I don't understand how this works. Yeah.
Now does this.
I can't believe it's
where
the
this
same
is
studio.
not at all, from what I can understand, how Kraven's origin is.
Well, we don't know that 100%. We're just guessing off.
We're
the
speculating
trailer.
based, but the trailer heavily implies
Yes, you're
he
right.
gets bit by a lion alive, but infects him with
lion
powers.
powers.
What I'm saying is, this: how can the studio that can make something so good?
It's amazing.
with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's desperation, Anthony, because okay, you have Spider-Verse and you have this animation loophole where they can make Spider-Man movies that not going to compete with the Marvel one. It's going to exist on a different plane. So like they don't really have the constraints of, and they're really desperate to try and create a hero that's not Spider-Man. See, like none of these movies should be being made about Morbius.
Oh yeah, none of them. Absolutely.
Like a Venom movie is even a stretch.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy. Should be part of Spider-Man stuff. Even though he's got his own book in Marvel Universe, he's still like, for a movie going, like for a comic book, you can do anything because you don't really need that big of an audience to support a comic book. But to get like the kind of money you're gonna get for like a big budget movie where you're spending money on effects and shit, you can't really. It's not gonna happen. So this is all desperation, Anthony. That's all it is.
Yeah, and what you're seeing too, which makes, I mean, we already have seen Morbius flop. We've seen Shazam or Black Adam. We've seen Shazam. We'll talk about The Flash. There's not much of an appetite for shit superhero movies right now.
Yeah.
Like, so to put this out, given what the market is, I mean, it's just, as you said, Ruggs, it's just dead. This is like a horrible, horrible thing.
I think what happened was they got encouraged by the first Venom.
They did.
Like doing pretty good.
Yep.
And getting decent reviews.
And I think No Way Home also, where they were like, oh, people like what we did with Spider-Man.
Right.
We could bring back some of these characters.
Right. So they've kind of been emboldened, but at the end of the day, if you ask anybody, do they want a Kraven movie? No one's like, yeah, do it. Like even a Morbius movie, we're like, I don't think so. Like, I don't know.
No one was like that.
I don't understand who these movies are for. If you are a hardcore Spider-Man fan, you are like me going, yeah, I love Kraven when Spider-Man's in it, not in his own movie. I don't know how you do without Spider-Man. And then the general audience has no fucking idea who these people are. They don't care. I mean, this is Kick-Ass Quicksilver.
They just equate the movie business just equates everything in a very strange way. So they say, hey, the Joker did well, not counting that the Joker is probably one of the most famous bad guys of all time and was being played by Joaquin Phoenix. And it was kind of like a ripoff of a Martin Scorsese film. So like all those things created a buzz around the Joker.
Yeah.
And so like, oh, we can make movies about bad guys and they're going to have just as big of a pull as like a hero that's famous. And none of these guys, like Venom, okay, Venom has some cachet, but Morbius doesn't. Kraven surely does not.
Yeah.
Kraven is known for walking around in fucking ballerina slippers
and a fuzzy
fucking
vest.
circus tights.
Yeah.
And ultimately blowing himself away at the end of Kraven's Last Hunt. That's what he's famous for.
I mean, that's the thing, is he was created by Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, but J.M. DeMatteis wrote the definitive story with Mike Zeck on art, and that shit is amazing. But it works because you are a fan of Spider-Man, you're invested in Spider-Man, this guy comes in, turns his whole world upside down. I don't know how Sony can make the Across the Spider-Verse movies so good and then turn around and shit this out. This trailer looks fucking horrible.
You want to know what is the most sad thing about this is that you're burning a character.
Yeah.
You're burning Kraven. Like you need Kraven. You need Kraven to make Kraven's Last Hunt.
Yeah.
Like that's like one of the other, like there's 2 or 3 untold Spider-Man stories
that you can still do.
That are huge.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. And now you're burning Kraven. You're going to fucking waste Kraven on this stupid movie and you're never going to make Kraven's Last Hunt. And we're all going to lose out on that.
Well, and the thing is I don't know. It's hard to even decipher what the end game is on this.
I don't
pun
understand.
intended, because you have Vulture meeting Morbius at the end of Morbius, and you have the Venom movies. Now you have Kraven, but it's not even really known if you're going to have any version. You're not. I don't know if you'll have Tom Holland Spider-Man to play with. So, like,
what are you doing?
What are we doing? Where is this going? I don't even know what this is.
You know, they did the same thing in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. It was all animal-based, animal DNA hybrids. They were trying to do Sinister Six. At the end of this, you get a tease of Rhino, who I guess is in the movie, but it's not a guy in a suit like it is in the comics, like we've seen. It's a guy who's his skin is turning into actual Rhino fucking armor for some reason.
For the Sinister Six, you got Venom, Morbius, Kraven, Rhino, and who else?
Vulture? I don't know. You could do
Venom, the Vulture. So that's 5. So who are we missing now?
I mean, if you're going to do like the comics.
I mean, you can do anything.
Yeah, Doc Ock. You got Mysterio. You got
Scorpion.
Scorpion's still out there. Yeah. Matt Gargan. Rex, the Foreigner is in this movie. Remember the Foreigner from Marvel Comics? He's a good bad guy.
Do I remember the Foreigner?
Yeah, remember he was with the Rose. The Rose and the Foreigner.
Oh yeah.
You know who's playing Ryan? The Rhino, I mean.
Well, who is it?
So it's this guy named Alessandro Nivola.
Yeah.
Who got his start as Pollux Troy in Face Off.
Oh.
It's that little guy.
Oh my god!
Oh my
He's
god!
that little brother from Nicolas Cage.
That's right. That's his brother,
Nicolas Cage.
Alex Troy. Ariana DeBose is in this too. That's interesting.
Like how miscast is that?
Alessandro. Wow. He's the Rhino.
This is now their second crack at Raven. Excuse me, Rhino, and the first one was Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, which is also way
which
off.
was awful.
Yeah.
Now they're doing
Yeah,
this.
it's a little bit of a miscast. The guy's not a bad actor at
No.
all. Like he's been in stuff that's been actually pretty good.
But like Russell Crowe, you would think would add something to this, but it still feels fucking generic and B movie as fuck. Like you said, Anthony, the only thing it has above Morbius is it's R-rated, and maybe the violence is something to go watch.
To the Russell Crowe point, though, Russell Crowe has been pouring himself out in a lot of different
Oh, he has
movies.
he?
I mean, he's been in The Mummy. He was playing a Zeus that was in love with orgies and
that's
Thor: Love and
true.
Thunder. He hasn't exactly been doing prestige stuff.
He just
he has to pay some bills.
there was this movie called The Pope's Exorcist that came out and bombed completely, and he was.
But I heard that he was actually good.
Yeah,
at
no,
it.
but
Yeah.
I'm not referring to those. I'm referring. He's been doing big budget movies for a bit now.
That's true.
He played Zor-El, Man of Steel. Like he's not above pouring himself out. for
Also,
money.
did you see how they position Kraven? Like, is he a good guy? He has a line where he's like, "My dad releases bad people into the world, and then I hunt them down." So, like, is this a good guy? Is he a bad guy?
they're what they're doing is again. They're having this pattern where they're making every Spider-Man villain an anti-hero.
Yeah.
And what's cool about an anti-hero is there's not many of them. But if you have 6 of them on the
They're
fucking
all-
same
yes,
team,
every movie you make
they're all anti-heroes.
doesn't work. Yeah, this I was like, oh
So
fuck.
am I rooting for them against Spider-Man? Am I rooting against them?
Eventually, when they meet Spider-Man, are they going
Right.
to team up or are they going to fight? None of this makes sense. It's coming out October. I think everybody forgot. But woof, Sony. All right, good luck with that one. It can't be worse than Morbius. I have hope that
I don't think it's going to be worse than Morbius.
I have
I think
hope
Morbius
yeah.
is a special. Like
it is.
we haven't heard that a lot of Kraven like drama
Yeah.
like we did with Morbius.
Yeah.
Like this seems like maybe they're, I don't know.
Well, also, Jared Leto is a very polarizing figure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So it's easy to hate Jared Leto's shit just because he's Jared Leto. I think that movie had a lot of negative vibes going into it, as you mentioned. But I think a lot of it's because of Jared Leto.
Similar to the movie we're going to review later. Had a lot of things up against it. Listener, let us know what you think of this Kraven trailer. You can join this conversation. Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. There is a link in the episode description. It is an exclusive closed group just for our listeners. It is the place where you can get involved in our upcoming 21st Century Action Movie Tournament, which right now we are tentatively going to be recording next week.
Oh, shit.
With John Bellotti, it's actually going to happen, so it's your last chance. You can get involved. There is a thread in our Facebook group, or if you go to jockandnerd.com/action movie tournament, there is a list of 40 movies. All you have to do, real simple, send us the movies you think will make the top 4, the final 4, for a chance at notoriety and praise. And maybe some other things. We'll see. But
Glory.
the lists are updated, and it should be fun. Guess who's going to make the top 4? Okay, that's on our Facebook group. Let's move on. Writer's strike update. Well, they're still on strike.
Oh, shit.
Week 7, 8, I don't know. It's
Are you going to go
loose
through a
track.
list of things that gets delayed?
Yes. Here's all the
Okay.
things that have been delayed. It's a lot of things, mostly from
It is.
Disney. And I think a lot of this is because of the writer's strike and other things, right? So they did a whole schedule overhaul. Here's the highlights. They are adding a live action Moana movie in 2025. And I think The Rock is playing like the same character he played. Here's a weird thing. Deadpool 3 is being moved up. Aside from all
see
these
that.
delays, this one movie is moving up from November 2024 to May 2024. That seems odd in the age of writer strikes and needing more time. This movie's either
No, it's probably done.
it's probably done,
Close
and
to
they're
being
like,
done,
yeah.
yeah.
So moving it up is crazy. Okay, they've added an untitled Star Wars movie in 2026. Here's the big ones: Avatars 3, 4, and 5 have all shifted a year each. Okay, so Avatar 2 is now coming out December 2025.
3.
Oh, sorry, 3. Avatar 3, December 2025. Avatar 4, December 2029. And Avatar 5, December 2031.
Oh, shit.
First of all, what the fuck is even happening? We are talking about...
James Cameron plans on living a really long
We are talking about movies coming out in 2031. That is 8 years from now. And it is also 22 years after the original Avatar came out. The 5th movie is going to come out. Okay, that shit is crazy. Any comment on that? Is this going to hurt? I heard also that he may hand off directing the last 2 movies.
He might have to.
At this, he's going to be like 70 years old. Like, what
is
the
this
fuck?
going to hurt? I mean, it's going to hurt if he's
already
dead.
70 years old,
He
isn't he?
is.
It's going to hurt if he
Christ.
dies.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
It really will hurt.
I mean, the second movie made over $2 billion. Can he continue to make $2 billion? But 2031? Jesus, I can't. That's weird.
You would, yeah, that's a long time. I mean,
I would just be like, I would just stop at a trilogy and just
Call it a day after the third one.
yeah.
yeah, and like again,
There's no need for this.
the second Avatar made a lot of money, so kudos to him. But I never thought of Avatar as a franchise that would last 22 years.
22 years.
Why are we doing this?
But I mean, he's so far he's on a good run. So fuck, I
Yeah,
don't know.
so I guess let him at it. This is gonna be the rest of his life.
He's got more in the tank, he thinks,
Dude, how old?
Well,
how old?
And you just have to come to the realization that he's not going to leave Pandora. All the movies he potentially could have made,
Yeah,
he's like, fuck it. The last 22 years, I'm just going to focus on Avatar. You're not going to get any other ideas from me other than this.
Anthony, how old will you be in 2031?
I that crossed my mind when I saw this, and I will be 43 years old.
Wow.
I'm gonna be in my like late 50s, mid 50s until when the fucking Avatar 5 comes out.
Yeah, I'm going to be
What?
43 watching Avatar 5.
We will still be doing this podcast 8 years from now. What?
But I will. I think I'm willing to bet though I won't look like you at 43.
No, you're gonna look exactly the same. Is the fucking shitty part of it. But yeah, okay, 2031. Okay, wait, there's more. Marvel has moved lots of things around. Captain America: Brave New World now moving from May 3rd, 2024 to July 2024, a few months. That delays Thunderbolts back to December 2024. Blade is now delayed to February 2025. Fantastic Four is coming out May 2025. Avengers: Kang Dynasty getting pushed back a whole year from May 2025 to May 2026. And Secret Wars is jumping a year to May 2027. They have also added, there's going to be 2 Star Wars movies coming out in December 2026. I think. No, there's 2 movies, 2 Star Wars movies in 2026, 1 in 2027. So everything is getting pushed back. And Blade, you think Mahershala Ali sticks around? They haven't shot one fucking frame of this movie, and it just got delayed again. I don't know if he sticks around.
Man, I don't know. He's gonna be. I mean, he's in his 50s already.
Yeah. What is it? 2023? We're talking Avengers movies in 26 and 27. Okay.
Well, what's crazy is those
3 and 4
movies
years.
were supposed to both come out, I think, in 24.
Oh, really?
They're supposed to do both originally. When they first announced it, I might be wrong.
That's right.
They were going to do both in the same year.
That's right. It was going to be very close. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're just going to have to wait. I'll tell you, it's going to be a big gap, I guess.
I mean, I think this is, they had to do this, so it's not like they chose to, but more time is good. Don't rush these out.
Yeah, 2031 is not that far away.
No, well, not that. I'm not talking about Avatar. It's talking about the Marvel movie.
Years.
It's fucking crazy that it's 2030. It's just weird to even think about that number.
Wow.
Yeah, so lots of reshuffling, lots of waiting around while we watch other things. Let's move on to, I have to mention, we lost a legend, a comic book artist, a Spider-Man artist, one of the greatest. We must pay our respects to John Romita Sr., who passed away this week. He was 93, had a full life, co-created characters like The Punisher, Mary Jane. And if you are a Spider-Man fan who grew up in like the 70s and 80s, probably the first image of Spider-Man I ever saw was drawn by John Romita Jr.
my light switch has Spider-Man on it, has a John Romita Spider-Man.
I have a garbage can, my childhood garbage can I've had since I was 6. When we moved my mom out, we got our condo, we were cleaning out the house. I still have this garbage can. It is full John Romita
Isn't there Romita
artwork.
right behind you right now?
Yeah, it's based on the Romita. Yeah, that pose. So essentially, like, this guy did so many iconic panels. Spider-Man No More cover, Spider-Man walking away from a suit in the trash. He also helped co-create Wolverine. His son, of course, is also great, John Romita Jr. But all the classic runs from the late 70s and 80s. I love, like, also what he did. Marvel at this point had a lot of license, a lot of T-shirts, a lot of stuff out. All the licensed merch they were selling. You know that pose of Spider-Man where he's in like a crouch and one hand is out? That's like on everything. That's John Romita Jr. Or Senior. John Romita drew every like commercial piece of Spider-Man that you could buy back in the day. So he's like a big part of my childhood, and my love for Spider-Man is this way. John Romita drew Spider-Man.
Yeah, I always liked John Romita because Steve Ditko used to draw Spider-Man all like really like skinny and weird looking.
Yes.
Which I love that too. But then there's the other dichotomy of like the Romita Spider-Man where he's kind of like got that really nice muscular build.
Yeah,
and,
it's a little more defined.
The webs are like a lot more methodical in how he planned them out.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I feel like that he was able to kind of distill it down to like a very copyable style.
Iconic, yes, and good for animation. Yes, Romita did follow once Ditko left. He took over the book for a long time. But yeah, the whole, the sequence of Green Goblin, unmasking Peter, all those stories. And when I started drawing Spider-Man, I think I drew John Romita Spider-Man. He did the book. Remember How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way? Wasn't that John Romita? All that stuff in there was John Romita.
That or John Buscema, one of the Johns.
One of the Johns. Anthony, I mean, I'm sure you've seen these old images of Spider-Man that are John Romita. What do you know about John Romita?
Yeah, I'm going to leave that. I'm not even going to. I know that I've seen the images, but I'm not going to pretend like I know all his work.
Man, he was great.
The best one, though, is the one where he walks away from the suit in the trash can.
Yeah, again, classic panel. Did work for Marvel and DC over his career, but when I read that, I was like, oh, man, this guy shaped a big part of my childhood and my drawing.
93.
Yeah,
he had a good run.
Full life, and
his legacy lives on. Yeah. And his son is a great artist, and who knows if this is going to be a dynasty that's going to keep going in comics.
Yeah, does Junior have a kid who's drawing? Because that would be great.
I don't know.
I love both of the Romitas, Senior and Junior. His style is definitely more unique, right? Junior's from his dad's, but they're both really good.
Well, you're saying whose is more unique?
John Romita Jr.'s style is unique to his father's. It's like different, right? It's not.
I feel like that John Romita Sr. has been copied and became the Marvel style.
Yes, the house style.
So John Romita Jr. is like his own thing. Like no one does it like him. Like he's very unique. So, which I think is applaudable as well. So I think they're both different sides, but the great thing about them both is they both draw an awesome fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah, I love. Yeah. That cover where Peter marries Mary Jane. That's a classic cover. He did that one. He did lots of them. So, look, speaking of Marvel Comics and John Romita and Kraven and all of their creators, one namely Stan Lee, there is a new Stan Lee documentary on
is it
Disney
watchable?
Plus. Well, I watched it, and let me tell you.
You think you can watch it?
You can watch it. I was going to wait till what are we watching, but this kind of ties into this because Stan Lee also created Kraven and Spider-Man. It's pretty good. It's well done. It is kind of like a big infomercial. There is some propagandizing maybe and self-mythologizing on the part of Stan Lee, which is what the thing he did. But he does bring up the Marvel house style and what it was like working with Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby and what the method was, him giving them the plots, them going off doing their thing and coming back with a whole different story. He would write in the word bubbles. But he still maintains that he makes it seem like he created everybody, and he does give credit to Ditko and Kirby. But there's a part of the documentary where there's a great phone radio show where Jack Kirby's on this radio show and Stan Lee calls in to wish him a happy birthday, and they kind of like friendly go at it about who did what. And it's still debated today in the documentary. He mentioned Steve Ditko and him got an argument. And it's the thing, who owns the idea? The guy who came up with the idea or the guy who drew the idea and made it tactile and made it a thing? Or do they both deserve credit?
I think that to have an idea and do nothing with it is,
does that count?
I mean, you have the idea and you have a brilliant idea, but you don't have any plans to do anything with it. You're never going to do anything with it. So the person who brings it to life should get maybe a partial credit. I don't think you should get complete credit. I think that generating a great idea is very hard. But also, if you bring it to life and you really do something with it, that can't be discounted either. So,
well, who's not happy with this documentary? And it's a Disney Plus thing, and they were going to do kind of fluff it up and make it very positive towards Stan, of course. But Neil Kirby, Jack Kirby's son, he's not happy. He posted this long ass thing.
His dad got the shaft big time, so he's got an axe to grind, and he probably heard lots of different people talk shit about Stan Lee, so he's probably got a lot of bad feelings towards Stan Lee. But the thing is that Stan Lee's dead. He didn't make this documentary.
Yes.
It's Marvel's thing.
Yeah.
So it's not really Stan's fault that they chose that footage or chose that narrative. It's like Marvel's trying to curate a product. And, at least they did put that phone call in there.
Yes,
that was
surprising. You can listen.
They did include a little bit of something just to make people understand that
they did.
Stan Lee, he had some help.
Yeah, he had a lot, and Steve Ditko too. Yeah, and there's a great story about why Ditko got the job as Spider-Man because Jack Kirby was drawing Spider-Man all jacked and muscular, and Stan's like, no, he's a teenager, and Ditko drew him all lanky like a teenager. But then Romita comes in, gives him a little bit of tone. But yeah, Kirby's son is like basically, my dad did a lot and he added a lot. And, surely Stan, we to assume he says that there was never any other co-creators that walked in Stanley's office with an idea all about taking credit. It's very interesting. It's an all right documentary if you don't know the story. It's fun to watch. But all of this happens. He's like 40 years old and that's when he creates Spider-Man, in the middle of his career. So I knew that was going to happen the minute I watched this. I was like, oh, someone is going to have a problem with this crediting because, yes, Stan did take all the credit, but Jack and Steve did a lot of stuff. Okay. Anyways, Anthony, any comment on that?
Nope.
Would you watch this Stan Lee documentary?
Nope.
Okay. Nothing.
No, I wouldn't say hard no. I'd say 90% nope.
It's all about creators' rights. We got to sort it out. Okay, maybe you'll have a comment on this. Last thing in the news. Something interesting is happening with the rights to the Incredible Hulk there, which have been muddled for years between Universal, right, and Marvel, which is why we've never got a solo Hulk film, and he isn't just other Hulk things. On Disney Plus now is the Ed Norton, no, not the Ed Norton, the Ed Norton Hulk film. It wasn't there before. Yes, the Ed Norton, directed by Louis Leterrier, has been added to Disney Plus, leading people to think maybe the rights issues have been resolved. A lot of the articles mentioned that there's an SEC filing from back in 2005 that lays out the terms of Universal's rights distribution strategy, which were laid out for a 15-year period. So it is possible that these are now expiring. And the movie released in 2008. It's been 15 years, so that these are going to expire and the distribution rights will go back to Marvel, meaning they could make a solo Hulk movie. My question is it too late? Would we want this? Is there even a point to doing this anymore if they get the rights back to make a solo Hulk movie?
If they do a World War Hulk or something like that, maybe.
With this
I don't
nerfed,
know,
Professor Hulk, who's all not really that big and violent. I don't know.
Well, I really, I'm very doubtful.
I mean, that's the way you could rewrite him back into being this threat. Is there some sort of inciting incident that makes him go from Professor Hulk to World War Hulk?
That would be great.
I think this is really good for Marvel because Hulk is still one of the flagship characters, and they haven't been able to create it's their own movie with the character. Yeah. And they've had a ton of movies to build him up into his thing, but haven't had a solo. So I think as far as IP, with Marvel. They're kind of scraping at a lot of C-level characters. So to be able to make a Hulk movie, I think is going to help them.
Yeah, I mean, Hulk, one of the original, also that Stan Lee documentary mentions, like, in a 4-year period, Stan created all these fucking, like, Hulk was one of them. I think it was one of, like, the second or third things he came up with. But
because if you remember back in the early 2000s, Blade was like kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
But the first IP they went to was Spider-Man, X-Men, Spider-Man, and then Hulk.
Oh, that's right.
Ang Lee's Hulk was one of the first IPs they went and made a movie out of.
Well, it's because they sold those like they did the X-Men, Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, but what I'm getting at is that these Hulk is a big name.
Yeah.
That's almost A-level character.
They had a TV show in the 80s, so
and he's
early 70s. Yeah.
Yep.
Great TV show. Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby. Come on, it's classic. But they've only been able to use him as a supporting character, so maybe it is now is the time. Maybe it's not too late. Turn him back into Rage Hulk and just fucking send him on this crazy fucking battle.
The one problem with the Hulk as a main character is the thing, and this I saw this on a long time ago, but the thing that was always troublesome in making a Hulk movie is he's a character. As a fan, you want to see him as Hulk,
as a monster,
yeah. But at the root of the character is that he doesn't want to be Hulk.
Yeah.
So you're rooting for something that the character you want to root for doesn't want to be.
He's got to fight it. That's a good point. I don't know how you make that. You got to pair him up with some people to bounce off of too. That'll work. But that trauma in that Bill Bixby show, man, on that TV show, you felt bad for him because the guy had to move towns, change his name every week because he tried not to be Hulk, and then he hulks out, and then he's like, "Oh fuck, now I gotta move." I just smashed up this whole place. Like, let me see that day-to-day Hulk.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of different things you can do. But yeah, World War Hulk or some kind of version of World War Hulk where he becomes the bad guy and he has his intellect, but he's like badass and strong, and he's got his own plan for the world and they have to take him down. It'd be pretty cool.
You could do multiverse Hulk and have fucking Ed Norton Hulk and the other fucking Hulk.
Oh my god!
All show up at the same time.
Yes,
dude. No Way Home with Hulk. I mean, they've already bought over. Like Liv Tyler is returning, right? And General Ross is coming over from that movie. So Abomination. They've got everybody, and the leader. We're gonna see him again. Now it's time for a Hulk movie. Yeah.
Hopefully, he has a nice little pencil mustache
and a big long head.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good place to take a break right here. Everybody, we're going to play some promos and come back and talk about a movie about a guy who's really fast that took a really long time to come out. Right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Check out what's been going on with the Pop Culture Cosmos Show and the PCC Multiverse.
That is by far my favorite because it's also character driven and the stakes are high and there's much more of a mystery and intrigue to it.
A game like Wolfenstein, which people are saying are one of the most socially important video games of the past 10 years.
Catch our shows on radio worldwide 7 days a week or at any time on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on over 30 more podcast outlets.
We'll get you back to your regularly scheduled podcast in just a minute. But we wanted to introduce ourselves. I'm Jason.
I'm Jeff. And I'm Blake on this highly produced advertisement.
That's right. It's the History of Bad Ideas, a.k.a. Hobie. You can find us on Twitter at Bad Ideas Podcast and on Facebook at the History of Bad Ideas. But if you like a podcast roundtable with 3 to 5 guests, usually every week, depending on sick leave, talking about all things geek, including movies, TV,
I ain't getting paid for this shit.
Blake bitching about something and ranting, and comic books and anything else that we can think of. We have a top 5 list every week, along with a box office news, and somehow we have listeners, so they send us some feedback we answer every week. You can find us on iTunes,
Stitcher, Facebook,
Spotify,
and any good podcast app, because if you can't find us on that podcast app, it's not a good podcast app.
Damn straight. Roger says goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you like this show, you must join our awesome fan club on Patreon. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
And you can give back on a monthly or annual basis, and there's tiers with benefits, and you get stuff. There's an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early. There's bonus content, instant reactions, post shows, lots of fun things there. You get to hang out with us on our monthly Discord hangout that's just for Patreon members. It's this week, this month's June 22nd. So the day after this show posts, it is time for, the month goes by so quickly. It is time for the discount hangout again. Discord.
The discount hangout?
The discount Discord hangout off Highway 12 and exit 39. You can't miss it. Look for the giant moose. I don't know what I'm talking about.
The Discord.
Discord, that cord. It's the Discord hangout.
These nuts.
Sounds like a country bar. Something. It's kind of what it's like.
Sounds like a brothel in the middle of Nevada.
Next
the discount hangout.
Yes, next to the dollar store and the pawn shop is the discount hangout. And there's a tier where you can pick any movie you want for us to watch and review. Lots of fun stuff. Anyways, we appreciate all the continued support and new support. It all goes back in the show. jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. This week's movie, it's finally here. It's here. It's a real movie. It exists. It is
a real boy.
It is. He's a real boy with the nose and everything. It is The Flash. And here are your spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Holy shit, this movie is out after lots of things happening to it, around it, in it.
Like 1,000 directors.
I have a whole timeline. We'll get into that later, but this is the 13th installment of this current DCEU universe that is about to end this year before James Gunn reboots it. 13th movie.
Unlucky 13.
It's the unlucky 13 of the DCEU. Maybe they should just end it here. We'll see. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's currently sitting at 66%. It went down from the last week when we checked. 6.3 out of 10. 85% audience rating. This movie, the budget on Wikipedia says about 200 to 220 million. But I've heard with the amount of reshoots and things this movie has gone through, the marketing could be like 330 million. Anyways, a lot of money. 220 million. Opening weekend, it has made domestically $55 million.
Lame.
Wow.
Floppy Jock.
55 million. Currently, it's sitting at a worldwide total of $139 million worldwide after 3 days. So 3 day, not great. Here to compare it. You know what else? It's weird. Elemental, a Pixar movie, also bombed this week. And that's like a bunch of bombs in the row for them. And Transformers Rise of the Beast actually opened better than this. Here's other opening weekends from the past few DC movies. Shazam 2 opened to 30 million. Black Adam, 67 million. The Flash opens underneath Black Adam's opening weekend. The Batman, the Elseworlds, 134 million. And then goes back down. The Suicide Squad, it was COVID, whatever. James Gunn, 26 million. Came out on HBO Max the same time. That had that excuse. But man, these opening weekends go up and down, and this one is not on the top there. This version of this movie that finally gets made is directed by Andy Muschietti with a screenplay by Christina Hodson, starring, of course, Ezra Miller as the Barrys, Barry Allen, the Flash. Ezra Miller cast in this role in 2014. 9 years ago, a whole fucking Flash TV show came and went between the time he was cast and the time this movie came out. Let's just put that into perspective. You got Ben Affleck as Batman Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton as Batman Bruce Wayne, Sasha Calle playing Supergirl, Michael Shannon returning as General Zod, Kiersey Clemens as Iris West, Ron Livingston recast as his dad, Henry Allen, Billy Crudup previously playing his dad. Now it is Ron Livingston, Maribel Verdú as Nora Allen. You got Tamara Morrison as Tom Curry, Jeremy Irons as Alfred, and a bunch of other cameos we will get through when we get to them because it's crazy, but that's your main cast. Okay, so Anthony, obviously, and then I mentioned I saw this movie twice. I saw a screening last week. Then I saw the theatrical release. I will confirm the screening was exactly the same movie. They didn't change anything. Now we will get into the history, the journey of this movie, but what happens in The Flash, Anthony?
Sure. When Barry Allen discovers that he can potentially go back in time and save his mom, he fucks around with time travel and changes the future and has to figure that out. That's what the plot is.
Yeah, not to mention if you read comics and watch all these things, this is the fourth time I'm seeing this story. Originally in the comics, Flashpoint, fantastic. Then the animated adaptation, DC animation, actually also really, really good. Then they do it on the Flash TV show, not a bad job. And now, again, this time, to a different degree of quality. Okay, so there's the quick plot. I can't wait to find out. I know what you're going to say. This is going to be great. What did you think coming out of this movie?
Oh, you listened to my instant reaction?
I did listen to your instant reaction. This movie. So to just build the context and suspense, this is the movie James Gunn, Tom Cruise, I think like Steven Spielberg all said was the best comic book movie they'd ever seen. Getting praise, showing it at CinemaCon with different endings, early screenings. The hype is building. Luckily, the writer's strike helps them a little bit in this case with promotion because Ezra Miller did attend the premiere and he did speak. He wasn't allowed. Nobody asked him questions. I got to remember to do that. Damn it, every time. They did get to make a statement saying how grateful they are to Warner Brothers, James Gunn, blah, blah, blah. Nobody got to ask them questions. So normally you'd have Ezra Miller going on Saturday Night Live, all the late night talk shows doing the rounds. Well, there's a writer's strike. None of that shit is happening. I think that helped them, the studio, in the long run to try to promote a movie without their lead. The box office show that clearly it didn't really work. We'll get into theater experience. How was your theater, by the way, Anthony?
I would say about 70-80% full. Decent. I saw it on a Thursday night. At one point, someone fell asleep loud snoring.
Oh, that's
theater,
hilarious.
So that was an interesting experience.
That's amazing.
So yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, the theater, both of the times I saw them, it was pretty 75-80% full. This original screening crowd, they were really into this movie, laughing, hooting, hollering. There's a bunch of nerds, of course. So the not as big a reaction when I saw it with the general audience. Rugs.
I saw it on a Sunday around 5 or 6 o'clock. I think there was like 20 people in the whole theater.
Holy shit. Wow. Oh, shit.
Nah, I'm being generous.
All right, well, that explains the $55 million opening weekend. All right, Anthony, let's start with you. A lot riding on this movie. This reset the universe, save the whole thing. What did you think coming out of this movie?
I'll preface by saying, and I mentioned this leading up to the movie, I was pretty excited for this one, given what people were saying as far as the big names hyping this up and Keaton being in this and potential for cameos. And I like the Flashpoint storyline. I'm not a big fan of Ezra Miller and the way they portray the Barry Allen, but I was pretty excited to see this movie. And while there are some redeeming things, Michael Keaton is nice to see. There's some fun bits of dialogue at times, some kind of cool things. I haven't been this angry coming out of a superhero movie in a very long time. This movie is still trash, like I said it was on Thursday night.
Yes,
it's trash.
You said it was
it's awful.
Trash.
This is an awful movie.
Oh my God.
I don't know what anyone was thinking when they said this was any good. It's not good. The CGI is horrific. Horrific. The choices they made with the CGI are awful. The way Ezra Miller plays Barry Allen, I'm just not a fan of. The use of Michael Keaton, while fun, the fact that he's in the movie and he's freaking 71 years old and I'm supposed to believe that he can move around like Batman.
He's Batman.
And the fact that like you have Michael Keaton who's freaking whatchamacallit. What's the director's name?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. That version of Tim, like very distinct style. And now you have him in a movie where Batman's character is in the daylight the entire movie.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
That's a good point.
Flashpoint, great storyline. Terrible choice for a first movie in the Flash universe. And last but not least, this is the worst way you can fucking ever do fan service.
Oh, yeah.
This is the third multiverse movie. It is the worst of the three that have come out in the last 2-3 years by far. And the fan service is so bad with the choices they make of CGIing them and who they decide to. It's just this movie's trash. It is complete trash. I can't believe anyone would say that this is a fucking good movie.
Wow.
I'm surprised that the ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, especially amongst the fans and Letterboxd, I watched the movie and I was like, wow. By the end, I was like, that was okay. And then I thought about it more. I'm like, that was awful.
What is it on Letterboxd right now? Do you know?
I think it was like 3.3 out of 5.
Wow.
So it's like
Wow.
pretty solid.
It's actually the fourth multiverse movie if you count Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Verse, No Way Home.
They're all better.
It's unfortunate this movie has come out after all those
3.1
movies. 3.1, it went down. Okay, that's a good take. We're going to get back to all those things.
Trash.
We're going to unpack
Trash.
all those things.
Throw that shit in the garbage. Trash.
Rugs, how'd you walk
I haven't
away
felt that strongly in a long time on a movie.
Well,
Trash.
So, did this get you more angry than Batman versus Superman? That's
almost the same.
That's
Almost.
that's up
Trash.
there. That's up there. All right, trash. We got one trash. Rugs, what's your take?
It's tough to say because although Anthony's right about everything he's saying,
He is.
I do think that the film as a concept, the source material that it's based on, is strong enough that it has a narrative, but they've basically like shit all over that narrative. So the idea that, okay, Barry Allen is a superhero that can run fast enough to like manipulate time.
Yeah.
And his impetus to go back in time and change something is something that's so tied to him emotionally, his mother dying.
Yep.
That all is great motivation for a character.
Absolutely.
Like, and even the fact that he goes back, fucks up, and gets Batman, and Batman explains to him that like when you fuck with time, it's not linear like you think it is, and all that stuff. That story is way better than No Way Home. Like Peter Parker, his friends can't get into college, so he goes to Doctor Strange and then interrupts him while he's doing the spell to help him out.
This is a better reason.
The setup is better.
Yeah, to
so
fuck
like,
up time. Yeah.
At its core, the kernel of the plot is so sound, right? The fact that they create this new reality, then that opens up like anything can happen. And the fact that, okay, it's not Kal-El, it's Kara, and locked up in a thing, blah, blah, blah. That all is all sound. It's just the execution is so bad, and some of the choices that they made are so bad. Like the whole baby thing with the microwave.
Okay, we will get into that. Hold on.
Scene is terrible.
Really?
And
awful.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
Trash.
Like there is so much bad decision making in this. There are a few like genius moments. Like there's that scene where Barry is with his mom in the supermarket, and that's just really well done and really well acted. But that doesn't mean that Ezra Miller should play the Flash.
Yeah.
That means that Ezra Miller can act when called upon to act, but he's not, or they are not right for this character at all, ever. So, it's not like a knock on their acting ability. It's just, they're just miscasts horribly.
Yep.
And what happens is when you cast someone so horribly, you try and write around them to their strengths. And then you get this ridiculous character that is Barry Allen. That is not like the Barry Allen that we know in the comic books. And so I think they had a lot going. Like, if you're a person that likes the plot and the plot hooks you in, I can see you maybe like liking this movie a little bit more than another person. But the terrible use of CG, the terrible choices that they made, sometimes things are inconsistent. The only thing that saves the movie is the plot and the fact that Michael Keaton is still a badass as Batman.
Yeah.
And the nostalgia that comes with that. Sasha Calle is very hot.
Yeah,
and
she looked great.
And looks badass. And the costume looks great. And that's about it.
I mean, they didn't give her a lot of things. They just standing around and screaming at
She's
people.
fine. Her character's fine. I like that. Ruggs is absolutely right. The plot is actually sound, but everything else around it is trash.
Flashpoint is a great Flashpoint.
You have a slam dunk right there, right? You have like a literal slam dunk. No one's in your way. You're there. And then they just trip over themselves so much. with bad decision making.
So yeah, let's go through. No, let's go through some.
Ron, do you have more thoughts, or do you have questions? Because I have so many things.
I want to hear all those thoughts, but let me just say, after seeing it a second time, I kind of feel mostly the same way. At best, this movie is a mixed fucking bag of things. Like I did think the comedy worked a lot. I thought it was funny. It was entertaining. The first and second acts of the movie are great because the Back to the Future nods are great. I actually this version that they are playing Ezra Miller of Barry kind of grew on me. You know, Barry's still a guy who's late for things, but he's just a little more neurotic. It's definitely
is he believable as that character?
I mean, it's definitely.
Do you think for 1 second that him and that girl are going to get together?
No, those two have absolutely no chemistry at all.
No,
I didn't buy any of that.
The way they play that character as this neurotic person, they don't have. Well, Barry in the film, doesn't have any realistic conversations with hardly any people because of the way he's acting. His dialogue.
That's a good point, I guess. Yeah,
that's not real. No one's acting that way. And then, as you mentioned, Ruggs, Iris at the end is so compelled by this guy that she asks him out on a date. Get the fuck out of here.
No, they have no chemistry. But
it's just not a real. That's not a real. I don't understand that choice. That's not Barry Allen. I don't know what the fuck that is. That's like a weird Wally West Barry Allen thing that they got going on. But that doesn't work for me either.
I mean, the parts with him and his mom, I thought did work. The heart was there. There is some emotion, but the CGI, I do agree. Like when he's running in the Speed Force, the shit looks kind of cool, but this whole Chrono Bowl thing is fucking horrible.
I'm not a fan of the ice skating.
Well, his running is still also very weird, but they do make a joke about it in the middle of the movie, which I thought that was kind of funny, but I don't know why he runs like that with his flicking his arms. The Back to the Future reference may be a little bit heavy-handed, but I appreciated that. But the thing is, this third act is a fucking mess, and at the end you're like, wait, what just happened? Did Zod die? Did that get resolved? What the fuck?
No, he didn't die.
No, he died. Like, I don't even know. I couldn't remember. They shove all
They
these
just couldn't
things
figure out
at
how
you.
to kill him.
Yeah, they couldn't. It was a. I don't know what they were calling it in the movie.
I know what it's a.
I think he had to go
Nexus
back.
event.
Like he had to go kill his mom so that it didn't happen. That's the only way that that doesn't happen is if he lets his mom die.
So they call those inevitable intersections, which is their version of like canon events or Nexus events. But he had to go back and redo it, so none of that happened. But I did enjoy, like you said, Ruggs, when he's explaining their version of time travel with the noodles, with the dry spaghetti. It's a straight dig on like Marvel's. There's a lot
of spaghetti jokes, a lot of sauce.
There's a lot of sauce going around on his
Why
face.
is Barry Allen's mom, who's clearly not Italian, they all into sauce?
She needs tomatoes. She needs a can. I liked how they dealt with his hunger and his voracious appetite. Like there was fine. There were some nice little touches to details. Some of the jokes are funny. Maybe they were carried on a little too far.
Well,
but
I mean, I don't know. Even in your initial review, Imran, how you just kind of glossed over this, and you mentioned it, but
I didn't want to spoil.
But it's truly atrocious CGI. I don't understand. This is a big budget movie, and Marvel's gotten shit for some of their CGI, but this has bad CGI. This isn't just moments.
Yeah.
This is bad CGI throughout the entire fucking film.
In a big mechanic of the movie, right? This Chrono Bowl is a big part of it.
Let's talk about the way they do this Chrono Hole, Speed Force, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
I listened to Ruggs' thing, and he's absolutely right, so you should listen to that. But that's a horrible choice. Like, why would you CGI all these real things that are happening and it not be even close to looking realistic?
And you have the people there,
what
too.
I said in my review, if all the non-Patreon people, is that, okay, so you're going to do the Speed Force thing, and Muschietti in an interview said, well, it's not meant to be realistic. It's meant to be like his interpretation of what's going on.
Yeah.
So there's like a different kind of realism. But like when you do it, why would you choose the uncanny valley to do it? Like, there are ways to avoid the uncanny valley. Like, you could have made them into phantoms or smoke or translucent or metallic. Like, they did it in Guardians of the Galaxy when they were doing the history of ego.
Oh, right.
They used metallic things that were like you don't have to have realism But when you get so close to realism, but you're not quite there, then it just looks like Uncanny Valley and disgusting.
Yep.
And it's not pleasing for anyone to see that.
It's jarring. It takes you out of it. They use, there's people who are alive that they didn't shoot the cameo. And instead of using footage of people who have died, they recreated them, I guess, or something.
Badly.
And it all looks really creepy.
It looks like a video game cutscene from like
badly.
2006.
But
it's insulting because you're bringing back when they do that third act where they show you the multiverses, and you do see the different Batmans and Supermans, and you CGI them, and you CGI Adam West, and you CGI Christopher Reeve, and you CGI Nicolas Cage. Like, that's a horrible choice. That doesn't honor those characters. That screams the cheapest amount of fan service possible.
Yeah. It gets worse. There was supposed to be more, like Linda Carter and a couple other, and Cesar Romero they were going to bring back from the dead. Here is
good idea, terrible, horrific execution.
Well, and it even gets stranger, right? So the first thing, I'm just going to jump to those multiverse cameos. They show you Jay Garrick Flash, like old-timey black and white Flash. It looks like Teddy Sears, the actor who played Jay Garrick Flash on the Flash show. Turns out it was not him. They didn't ask him. He's like, I don't know if they didn't ask me. They just put him in there. They never got his permission. The George Reeve 50s Superman. There's a whole I was reading all these Twitter threads, and if you know about this guy, this role of Superman fucked with his head so much that he committed suicide. He killed himself because he couldn't get past. He couldn't get any other acting, and part of it was because of being cast as Superman. Apparently, the day this movie came out, July 16th, is the death anniversary of when George Reeves killed himself.
As crazy as that is, the thing I can't even believe even more is it's a fucking Flash movie, and you have barely any Flash cameos from all the other Flash. No John Wesley Shipp.
Yep. No Grant Gustin. You could have had John Wesley. And that was weird. I was like, why are you showing me Christopher Reeve? Helen Slater from Supergirl. We just did that on What the Fuck Happened. I was like, holy shit.
To me, yeah, you have all those. And I thought it was just super, frankly, I thought it was a fucking horrible choice. People laughed in my theater.
Yeah.
To have to do the cameo of Nicolas Cage as Superman. So I know that's like a super fun,
deep inside joke.
Thing.
Deep inside joke.
But that's a real deep inside joke.
What did people
a movie
think?
That never happened, and most people on the surface are going to look at that and go, "Are you joking?"
It's not
Nicolas
even done
Cage.
well. If it was done well, then it might be
if you don't know that
terrible.
at one point Tim Burton was going to make a Superman movie with Nick Cage in a weird suit that lights up, and it was going to have him fight a giant spider because John Peters was in a lot of blow and wanted to have a giant spider in the Superman movie. Like, I don't know how that comes across. These are some deep fan servicey Easter eggs that I'm like, that's crazy. But even if the whole movie is focused around what happens in Man of Steel, if you walk into this movie not having seen Man of Steel, like, none of that Zod shit means anything to anybody, then. So,
well, you probably have seen Man of Steel, to be honest, if you're walking in this movie.
Okay, hopefully.
But that movie, to build to that, it just, there was not a ton of momentum towards building to that.
That was kind of a weird
of Man of Steel.
Yeah. And Barry was
the fan service stuff, just real quick before you wrap on that, I want to emphasize, is horrible. Horrible execution.
It's lazy, and their execution is horrible.
Look, I smiled when I saw Christopher Reeve. I genuinely, I was oh my God.
But then did you smile when you realized they had CGI created?
No. Then it was
why can't you just use the footage from the fucking movie?
Yeah, I don't know. They could,
I smiled at Nicolas Cage because it was so ridiculous.
Too. Yes, I was like, oh my God, they're fucking doing this. That whole sequence.
There's real footage of these characters.
Yes. They could use. Okay, wait. Let's go back to the beginning. I want to talk about the opening baby saving scene because it's fucking cartoony and goofy, but I thought it was kind of fun to watch. I thought it was funny.
No, I disagree.
Really?
No, CGI babies. You can tell they're fucking CGI babies.
No, you can tell all of it. The therapy dog, everybody CGI. The CGI babies look creepy, but the whole idea, the
microwave baby.
Okay, that was great. But the gag of that he goes to the vending machine first, goes past the baby because he needs to eat, and then he saves them all, and he puts one in the microwave, and then when it lands, it goes ding. I was like, oh, baby's done.
I like the idea. I can't get off the fact that the CGI babies look terrible.
The CGI babies look bad, but I thought it was a fun sequence. They tried to do what they did with Quicksilver and X-Men. That scene is way better, obviously.
Why would they even try doing it?
I don't know.
They're not going to do it better.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't. They clearly didn't do it better.
But it's dark, though, too. Like, I don't know who came up with this. I was like, holy shit, they're just going to have all the babies fall out the fucking windows, and then all babies go flying. And Alfred's like, baby. And I was like, oh, boy. So, I don't know. It's silly and goofy, but visually, some of it was good, but it is very CGI heavy. Okay, well, what did we think about...
It's not even... I mean, the CGI is just bad.
Yeah,
we've seen plenty of movies with CGI, but even him... Ruggs mentioned running, but there's scenes where you can clearly tell it's face superimposed. There's a rubbery feel to a lot of the characters. Chris Stuckman pointed this out. Rug Boy pointed this out. You can fucking tell when there's two Barrys on screen who's CGI and who isn't.
See, I didn't. That didn't bother me. It didn't really. It seemed pretty seamless.
Oh my god, Imran!
No, it was so bad. It was really bad. Like, you had Uncanny Valley everywhere.
Horrible.
Like,
when them two are on screen and their faces are in the same spot,
there are times when I'm thinking they must have did ADR and had to change like the whole entire, like they just CG'd the face to match the ADR.
Whoa.
Yep.
Or something, because like when they're, I think that one of the places where it's really bad is when they're in the Batwing and they're talking to each other and and I'm like, whoa, that's terrible. And like, this is not just one time. This is like every other scene.
Every time. I mean, anytime them two are on the screen where you have them both in the shot.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
You can tell.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of liked how the Stoner Barry is. First of all, it's hilarious that everyone is an idiot in that fucking new universe. Stoner Barry kind of makes him realize what a fucking mess he is and how much he is to put up with, and kind of helps him, kind of like in Back to the Future. With the whole thing of them interacting is crazy. Did you get all the Back to the Future references, Anthony?
Yeah, I've seen Back to the Future.
No, did you get the Eric Stoltz joke, though?
What, that he's not really in the movie?
Well, but here's the thing. So I love how in that new future, Eric Stoltz is in Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox is in Footloose, and Kevin Bacon is in Top Gun, which makes me think, does Tom Cruise not exist in that reality? But Eric Stoltz originally was cast as Marty, filmed a lot of the movie. And
weeks worth,
and they did not think he was playing it wrong. He was playing it too serious. They didn't like him. They had to fire him.
Gotcha.
So there is like a whole bunch of scenes of Back to the Future with Eric Stoltz.
There's actually parts of the actual movie where it is Eric Stoltz.
The back of him, yeah. They just didn't bother
like
reshooting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just funny in this universe, Stoltz keeps the job, and everybody's career is different.
What did you think about the guy's tattoo? Did that turn you on, Imran?
Of Eric Stoltz as Marty McFly on his tattoo with his leg up.
It's upside down.
Those guys are funny. All right, going back to the beginning, what do we think of Batfleck and the whole Batman chase scene, and Diana shows up? I thought that was pretty good. It was fun.
I didn't like the costume, but yeah.
The costume's a little weird.
I don't know why he's wearing like some kind of a weird chest piece.
Yeah, with like holes in it.
It was fine. I mean, the Wonder Woman cameo was fine. There's a scene, though, where Batman flies through the air real quick as Ben Affleck, and it's horribly CGI'd again. I mean, it's just...
It looks like rubber, yeah.
Yeah, I just cannot get off of the fact that the CGI is this bad.
Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
That may be the last time we see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Also, she did
that's right.
She's been doing cameos in the last few movies. Okay, well, they also tried to play this off as a Flash origin movie and do Flashpoint right away, which probably was not the best idea.
It's not a great idea, because the Flashpoint storyline is built on years of comics and things that you've come to know about all these characters, and now it's just not an origin movie. And then half the movie, because of the marketing, you don't give a fuck about the Flash, because the marketing is really revolved around this is a Michael Keaton.
You're just waiting for Keaton. Yeah,
right.
Just waiting for Keaton to show up. Also, how it was.
So should we talk about Michael Keaton? Because that's probably a big part of the movie.
Yes. The two Barrys need help. There's no metahumans.
I think this is the only thing that I disagree with you with, is that I actually thought Michael Keaton was great.
I love Keaton in this.
I liked him.
I think that he saved the movie for me in a lot of aspects.
I liked him. I just don't think it's believable.
No, it's not. But when a movie's this bad, Anthony, you gotta hold on to something.
I liked his explanation of the the multiverse or whatever.
Yeah, the spaghetti metaphor.
I don't know that the Michael Keaton we got in Tim Burton's Batman universe
is the same guy.
Would have been an expert of this. Also, are they implying that he is the Tim Burton Batman, or is this just a version of Batman that looks like Michael Keaton?
What? No, this is that Tim Burton universe. It's the same Wayne Manor. The Batcave is similar. Well, the Batcave is kind of a mush of things.
Well, listen,
I don't know.
In Tim Burton's world, it's at nighttime all the time.
Yeah, you never see him in the daytime.
Nighttime all the time, and there's Gotham does not look anything like any buildings in the rest of the Flash
they
movie.
had the Easter egg of the Joker laughing bag that's at the end of Batman 89 was in there. It's the same Batmobile, the Batwing, the waterfall is from like a separate
The house
movie.
is different.
The house looks gothic. The Batcave computer layout is similar, but the Batcave is different. So I don't know. But every time they play the Danny Elfman music, I was like,
Geek boner.
Fuck yeah, play that. Keep playing that.
Yeah, but they played it like 75 times.
They did play it a lot. And he says all his lines. He says, "Oh, let's get nuts. I'm Batman." And then, but they just have him fighting like just nameless thugs. Also, so that was kind of,
the fighting was fine. It just when I see his hand and his hand looks like he's 71 years old.
And he gets in the suit though.
And he gets in the suit and he's suddenly moving like that. I'm just going.
I loved him with long hair and the beard. I love that they did the callback to the "How much do you weigh" line from Batman 89 too, when he blasts that elevator up. That's great. 108. You weigh a little more than 108 with Vicky Vale. That's great. So I loved all the Easter eggs. The Barry repurposing the Batman suit. That's a hilarious sequence where you see him. It's dramatic. He's spray painting, and then it just cuts to him sawing the ears off. You hear the noise, and then when he turns and looks at the other Barry,
it's all scrunched.
You can't turn.
That was funny.
You can't turn your head in that suit. There's no movability. So that shit was hilarious. But anyways, they got to battle Zod, and so the addition of Supergirl again. This is like in Flashpoint in the comics, except it was Kal-El that was locked away and skinny and kept away from the sun. In this one, Zod has already killed baby Kal-El, and she's been locked away. And then she was bad. It was a badass.
Now, why does she have the Kodak? That never explained.
Instead of it being in Clark, it was in her. It's just different. I don't know. Different universe, different decisions. They don't explain that. But she's suitably badass, and I love her regenerating. But then the fight happens very quickly. She helps Barry get electrocuted. There's some weird jumps and she flies away and then she goes and she sees Zod from a distance.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really weirdly cut.
Okay. Then they just cut. They don't do anything. They cut away from that. They go back to Bruce helping Barry electrocute himself several times. And then she just shows up there and she's like, "Oh, you need my help," and flies him up and gets him electrocuted.
Well, that's so weirdly cut because she sees Zod.
Yeah.
Zod clearly sees her.
Yeah.
We get to the Barry trying to get his powers back and she just ends up there. Like, how does she know where the Batcave is?
How does she know she was needed?
Yeah, how does she know she was needed? And then how does she know what's even going on there?
I don't know.
She sees him electrocuting himself, and she goes, "Okay, that's the right time. Now I'm going to help him." He's inspired me to help him.
Fuck did you come from?
It was so weirdly cut.
My takeaway from that was when they rescued her, Barry was holding her and says, "I've got you," and she wanted to return the favor, I guess.
Well, that's a good explanation, but why the fuck does Zod not fucking chase after her as when he sees her?
This is who you were looking for.
That's
the whole
who you were
time.
looking for.
That's the Kryptonian. This is right there.
The story
just
doesn't make any sense.
He parks his fucking spaceship in the middle of the desert and sees her and goes, "I'm staying right here. I'm waiting for her to come back."
Like if he already killed, Kal-El, then yeah, he'd totally be looking for her.
Clearly,
he says it.
He
says it. He goes, "You're hiding a Kryptonian."
Yeah, that's the same message that was in Man of Steel.
And he was looking for her.
Yeah,
and he sees her.
And she's right there.
He parks his ass there and waits for her to come back with backup.
Did she just leave? Yes. Let me get my friends.
Now, who's the hotter Supergirl? Sasha Calle, Helen Slater,
or Melissa Benoist?
Ooh,
yeah.
Oh man, those are all three very good Supergirls. Actually,
I really liked the way Sasha Calle looked in this.
It's a different. It's like that Lara Kent version or whatever. Different than the blonde. But Melissa Benoist, I watched that show just for her.
I think that you can't roll a bad one on that.
No, Helen Slater
there's not a bad choice.
Very cute. She was very cute in that movie. Surprised.
Is that the one they're portraying in the fan service?
Yeah, that's the 1984. We just did. You weren't there. We did the What the Fuck Happened, which is Supergirl, which made almost Delhauer almost went crazy and lost his sanity doing this. He said that movie he has not been so tortured as he has since Fantastic to doing What the Fuck Happened. So that movie
is a pretty bad movie.
Yeah, it almost broke him. It was great.
She's really hot too, though.
Yeah, she is. Helen Slater back then, she was like 19 in that movie.
Wow.
Anyways, we get to the point where Barry realizes, like, Michael Keaton, Batman, Cesar Kelly, they die. They're always supposed to die. They go in the Chrono Bowl. They keep trying to do it. At this point, Stoner Barry doesn't want to stop. He keeps coming back, and he's got pieces of metal in his arm. And I'll tell you, the minute in the beginning of the movie where he goes in the bowl and the one other speedster comes out and knocks him out in 2013, you know it's fucking Barry. If you've seen any TV episode of The Flash or read a Flash comic book,
it's always another Barry.
It's always Barry. That's what it always is. So it was a little predictable. I'm like, oh, that's fucking Barry. That's who's doing this, and it is him. So there's 3 Barrys, but they kill that Barry by him undoing everything. And we come back.
And he pushes him out because that Barry needs the Barry we've grown to like in this universe to create him.
Right. That starts the chain of reactions to create the Dark Flash, who's still trying to fix things.
This Barry is the one he creates, and this Barry is so obsessed with trying to change time that he's destroying everything.
And you see how, like, the pieces of metal start collecting on him. I tell you, it legitimately...
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Again, like Ruggs said, the plot, for the most part, might not be executed the best, but is a very solid plot.
There are things in this movie that you can grasp onto and find into a positive light, but it's just surrounded by so much ineptness that it kind of it throws you. Like, I don't blame you for coming out of the movie being angry and thinking it was a complete piece of shit.
However,
I don't blame you.
I mentioned we watched this movie with a 13-year-old kid who was super geeked, and I was like, if I was this 13-year-old kid, I'd be completely into this and would say there's nothing wrong with this fucking movie. It does have entertaining parts.
I mean, Imran.
But
are you
funny.
really saying,
no, I'm just saying it's funny
if you came in with a 13-year-old's mindset, it's actually a good movie, and that justifies all the shit.
Yeah, no, doesn't justify.
Well, look, let's put it on the table of why it's bad. So, number one, it's a huge tentpole film made by a gigantic studio with $200+ million thrown at it.
Yep.
It had multiple directors attached to it, and they all left. And you have a new head of DC coming in and making changes last minute. And I feel like it shows. It shows why. That's why it's bad. I think at the end of the day, no one really had any kind of real confidence in this film. And if you look at just the bare bones of the plot, it was there the whole time. You just needed to execute.
And I mean, I think clearly the audience is burned. They've been burned by DC movies. They've not had a string of good movies. And do you just kill what the rest of the movie's coming out and let it rest for a year?
I think what they're doing right now, and I agree with everything Ruggs said, why this is a horrific movie, in my opinion, with the amount of money spent in this time period for it to look that bad. But I think they're doing what is happening right now with DC. I don't even know if James Gunn releases great movies. I don't know if they're doing really, really bad damage to the brand right now because it is clear by the box office receipts that DC movies and just in general superhero movies are not doing good right now compared to what they've been. And this is now a string of Shazam and Black Adam that have been botched fucking movies that are horrible. And the next movie coming out is fucking Blue Beetle.
Yes.
That looks like shit.
Yeah.
So they're doing really bad damage.
And then Aquaman.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is they might be damaging the DC brand so much that there might not be much to come back to after this.
I think when you have the highest grossing DC movie post Snyder being $400 million, and that's what
Wonder Woman.
No. That's Black Adam. I'm talking about all.
Oh, yeah.
So the Snyderverse is over, right? It ended with Justice League and Aquaman and all those. But in this current iteration, nothing's broken the $400 million mark, right?
Well, but does this movie close out the Snyderverse? Let's just talk about the ending real quick, right? So Flash defeats Dark Flash, undoes what he did with his mom, comes back, and now Bruce Wayne rolls up, and it's fucking George Clooney. And I love his line where he's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
That was a James Gunn. That was supposed to be not George Clooney.
This ending changed 3 times. Back with the original, with Walter Hamada reign, with each regime change, they changed the ending. Walter Hamada, when he was there, the ending was going to be Keaton's Batman, Sasha Kelly's Supergirl, now exists in this universe with them. The Discovery merger happens. Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, they want to bring Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot back, and they add them in the end credit scene, that end scene. And then James Gunn takes over DC Studios, and he's like, you know what? Let's just fucking burn another Batman, make it a joke. He puts George Clooney. But what universe is this? Are we left in? Is George Clooney now Batman? Andy Muschietti is directing Batman Brave and the Bold, which is going to be yet another Batman. What universe is that in? And then there's a post-credit scene with a fucking drunk Aquaman and Barry, and it's completely pointless. And I don't understand why that was even there to set up his second movie. So I don't know where this leaves this universe. Do they just take Blue Beetle and Aquaman and put it to streaming and call
they're not gonna do that
and cut their losses? Because you're right, like each one of these bombs, it builds on the last bomb.
It's building. I mean, you look at the last since COVID. Since 2020, the last few movies.
Since Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Birds of Prey, yeah. Just reading this out. Birds of Prey, movie. Wonder Woman 84.
Horrible movie.
Bad movie. The Suicide Squad, good movie. Very good movie.
Great
no
movie.
one watched it.
Yes.
Black Adam killed the Rock's ambitions.
Yeah.
Shazam! Fear of the Gods, horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible box office.
Yeah.
Not a good movie.
Yeah.
The Flash, terrible box office opening. In my opinion, a horrific movie. This is like, if I was a big DC fan, which in some sense I am, I'd have real concerns.
It's embarrassing. This is a problem. You know what did perform well? Interesting enough, the Elseworld stuff, Joker, the Batman,
Right.
those things did rise above.
Well, Batman's kind of almost untouchable at this point.
Yeah.
Like, they can do whatever they want with Batman. It's kind of its own thing. I think most people don't even really associate Batman with all this shit.
Yeah.
Even though Batman's in this movie.
Yes.
He's in the fucking movie. But once
Twice.
you associate him with this Drek, you can see it bears no. It doesn't do anything for the box office.
So did this come off as the reset James Gunn was hoping it would be?
No,
I don't
did
think
not.
so. It doesn't really reset
And
anything.
you know
They failed to do that. That's one of the most important things they could have done.
Yeah,
With this movie.
it makes it more confusing.
And you know what? I really fucking question James Gunn's thought process on hyping this up as one of the best movies he's ever seen.
Dude, apparently I saw this article. Warner Brothers China accused of paying for positive reviews and reactions. And I think they spent a lot of money so they could get Tom Cruise and James Gunn and Spielberg, everybody to say, this is the best comic book movie ever. Like, that was part of their marketing. So,
and what do you do moving forward? Like,
the hype was too big. It's never going to live up to that.
Because I've seen articles that Muschietti loved Ezra Miller. I've seen, James Gunn said coming into this was good.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a definitive answer on what characters are coming into James Gunn universe.
Yeah.
Do you bring Ezra Miller as this version of the Flash?
I mean,
because the way this ends is he's changed it a little bit.
Yeah.
So are we saying that the Flash is now coming over? Like, what the fuck do you do after all this shit? This is awful.
Ezra, and I'll go through this timeline real quick, but for the past 11
we know
months,
James Gunn's wife is coming over.
She's going to be in everything. Ezra Miller hasn't really had any incidents in the last 11 months, but I don't know if that helped or did anything. I don't think anybody knows, but he said Blue Beetle is going to be part moving forward.
That looks awful.
Andy Muschietti's like, if we do a sequel, they've written a sequel, I want to use Ezra, but I don't know if you use him. I don't know what they do. It's a very confusing place to end this, and you still have 2 movies still coming out. Where does all that fit in? I think people are going to be burned out.
Does it? I always ask myself the same question, like at every single time we review a bad movie. I'm like, how do they not know at the studio that this is bad? That this doesn't do what it's supposed to do? Like, how do they not know?
How could you look at, I mean, they looked at that CGI and they were like, this is fine, even though it's clearly it is intentional because it's like that from the beginning. And every scene of the Chrono Bowl, it looks weird. And Andy, Machete's like, I meant to do that. He pulls a Pee Wee Herman going, I meant to do that. But it's jarring. It doesn't work.
I mean, I can understand once you've gone so far, you spent all the money, you've done all the reshoots that you can, but like, why are those reshoots important and not the reshoots that would get you to the actual, hey, you need to close out this, like James Gunn comes in and goes, hey, I'm starting a new universe. You know what you should really do with this movie is like reset the universe.
Yeah.
And just
it may have been too late. It may have been too late to make those big changes.
Right.
Well, look, before we rate it, let me go through the quick timeline of the journey of this fucking movie. Also, I got to mention, they do the thing they do in Spider-Man 2, Superman 2, where Barry loses his powers. Like, they throw all that shit in here. It works. It doesn't work. Here is the journey.
He loses his powers in his first solo movie.
Right. And that also has his origin movie and then like the big flashpoint that changes everything and he loses his powers. Although Barry's first run with that chain of events that leaves him naked was both ridiculous and kind of funny.
I'll give it this. I did laugh when he's just running in circles in the theater, like Jackass.
Yes, that's how when he like tries to walk through the wall, and just fucking gets slammed, and then you see him running, and you're like, "Yeah, why do you run like that?"
And I was going, "Why are you running?
Why are you running like that?" Okay, so they've been trying to make this Flash movie since the '80s. People, Jeff Loeb was hired in the '80s to write a screenplay. Fast forward to 2004, David Goyer hired to write and direct after Batman. He does Batman Begins. He wanted to do Ryan Reynolds as Wally West. So at this point, this is a Wally West Flash movie. 2007, Goyer walks. Sean Levy is hired to direct. George Miller is doing Justice League Mortal at this point, and they're trying to make that happen and have spin-offs. By 2008, Sean Levy leaves. Donald Dobkin takes over to make it a spin-off of George Miller's Justice League Mortal movie that never gets made. They had a 2008 release date. This is still a movie about Wally West. 2010, Greg Berlanti, Michael Green, Mark Guggenheim hired to write a new treatment based on Jeff Johns comics that feature Barry Allen. 2013, they have plans to release this movie in 2016. 2014, Ezra Miller is cast, and they plan to release this movie in 2018. The Flash TV show also starts. This is 2014. In the meantime, Flash appears in multiple DCEU movies and the Flash TV show is a brief cameo. By 2015, you got Lord and Miller writing a treatment, Seth Graham Green Smith to direct. The next year, 2016, Smith leaves, Rick Famuyiwa hired to direct. 2017, Famuyiwa leaves, creative differences. They put the project on hold, and this is the year at San Diego Comic-Con they announced the movie is going to be called Flashpoint. The next year, 2018, John Francis Daly, Jonathan Goldstein hired to direct. 2019, remember we talked about this story, Ezra Miller writing a script with Grant Morrison. By 2020, all those scripts are not being made. Andy Muschietti is hired to direct with a script from Christina Hodson in July 2022. And then in 2022 is all the Ezra Miller stuff happens. And that brings us to today. So, this is a decades-long fucking, I can't believe, and for this movie to fall apart at the end the way it does after all this is stunning. And we should be worried about the future of DCEU because maybe James Gunn even can't save this. Okay. Final thoughts. Let's rate it, rank it. This is going to be interesting. Anthony.
Let me look at my list here.
I'm torn. I had a score in my head, but it may have changed. But
so for this movie, and again, I don't understand how this is getting like decent reviews from people I respect. This movie for me is a 3 out of 10.
Oh shit!
It is one of the worst superhero movies you will ever see.
Wow.
It's an all-time bad superhero movie for me. I have it ranked out of the 13 DCEU movies. I have it ranked 12th.
Oh shit! What's 13? The Suicide Squad.
Justice League.
Oh, Justice League. Justice League.
Justice League. I have it right below Batman v Superman. I almost like Batman v Superman more, just because while I don't like the way he did the movie, at least the CGI isn't fucking horrible.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it's 2023, and you have scenes in that Kronos or whatever that look like the Rock Scorpion King.
Yeah.
and then to top it off, you have these cameos where you decide to CGI the cameos, and it's just like you're just whoring these actors out. Like there's nothing there. It's not even integrated into the plot of, like, at least with No Way Home, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield have roles to play.
Yeah, important roles that change the character.
They're not just hello.
Yeah,
remember this face. Yeah, and you CGI it. It's just horrible decision making. Ezra Miller, not my favorite portrayal of Barry Allen, and I don't like the Flashpoint as a. You've seen Flashpoint portrayed on all sorts of media.
Yeah,
this is the worst version of that.
Okay. Yeah.
So there you go. I hate the fucking movie.
Fuck no. Also, who murdered Nora Allen? Like, are we ever going to find out? Is that even, like, that's an important thing? Who fucking killed her?
Thing. Yeah, it's Eobard Thawne.
Yeah, that's the Reverse Flash, and they don't even fucking show you, and they just skip over that.
It was Reach Around Flash.
It was Reach Around Flash. Did the reach around a little too hard. This movie also kind of reminds me of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
A little bit.
In the sense that they kind of squandered, like, could have been more mad, could have been more multiverse. You just didn't one other multiverse.
And the cameos are kind of just there.
Yes, and the cameos are there, and everybody's
But you know what?
killed.
At least the cameos in that movie aren't CGI.
Right. They're, and they're real fan service people.
The real
They
people.
just killed them all.
The real people that they actually put in there.
Not just adding the shit at the end. Boy. Wow. Yeah.
You think, I mean, he probably doesn't care, but I mean, Christopher Reeves has got to be rolling over in his grave to be like, I appeared in the Flash movie.
Yeah.
They CGI'd me into this fucking Flash movie.
Not even good.
Yeah.
We had hours
but not well. It's not good. Yeah. So
yeah,
that's what I think about
probably what it runs. I'm going to go to you.
There's a guy. Yeah. I would say at least 10 years ago, maybe more, who did the Hulk versus Superman from his computer at home.
Oh yeah. It looked amazing.
Christopher Reeves looked better than in this movie.
Yeah, those are great videos.
Just look it up on YouTube and just see how piss poor the graphics in this movie are.
But he meant to do that. It's to show Barry's distortion.
As far as where I rank it on movies, I feel like I like aspects of this movie more than other things. Like, but it's just so poorly executed and so miscast, and squandered this opportunity to kind of create a reset for this much needed reset for this universe.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I'm going to put it on the dead bottom, but it's I would say in the bottom 5 for sure of all the movies.
Okay.
I would probably put it, I don't know. I think this was just as bad as Black Adam. I think this is just as bad as Wonder Woman 84 and the Harley Quinn movie. I think all the other movies are way better than this. Even the Justice League is like better than this slightly. Slightly. I think that the Justice League has got a lot of bad CG in that too.
Yeah. At the end,
the face,
fucking Steppenwolf, and the mustache.
So, and that's
two DC movies that have talking points revolving around the CGI.
Mustache Gate. Let's not forget how horrible that was.
Right. It's just unforgivable.
What number are you going to give it?
I'm going to say a 4.5.
Wow, that's a low rating.
Wow. All right. Look. I'm gonna be a little lenient.
I know you liked a little.
I'm gonna
bit
be
of
a
it,
little lenient because I did like watching it. I was having a fun time. Like I was laughing. I enjoyed it. The things bothered me, but it is it's a mixed bag. I'm okay. I'm gonna give it a 6. I'm gonna give it a 6. And as far as it ranks, I do like it better than Shazam 2 and the Black Adam and Wonder Woman 84. It's somewhere in the middle of the 13 for me.
Like if I was like a little kid, I probably would give it a 6 too.
Oh my!
Like,
yeah,
I'm not.
I was gonna go higher, but there's certain things that you guys brought up that you can't argue, and some of the cameos are borderline offensive. But I had fun, and it was, I don't know.
But there are laughs to be had. There are laughs to be had. It has a strong narrative. It has a strong emotional core about the mother.
It does.
So, like, there is a lot of actual structure to this film that's good. I can't just say it's completely, like, garbage, but I do think that the failure on epic scales on many things, I don't know. I mean, like, I could probably justify a 5, like, if I really want to. But, because it does have Michael Keaton. It does have
we got to see
good,
him back.
strong story. It does have funny moments, and the humor in it is done well sometimes. But it's just a comedy of terrible craftsmanship. And
what is
it's shoddy.
What do you think about the direction, though? I thought his directing was decent. It was
no, because he allowed
for the
these
Chronoball
visuals
part. Yeah.
He allowed these visuals to be
I like
terrible.
that he's like running backwards in there. Like that's kind of clever. But
Well, I don't see the thing too is the Cronenberg is awful,
Yeah.
but it's the bad CGI is peppered throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
I mean, as we
the
mentioned,
babies,
the babies, Barry Allen's face whenever there's two of them,
Yes,
the way he's running, the way the one scene where he's looking up in the sky and he's getting held like by two things, and it's his face CGI'd on the clear rubber body.
Oh yeah, he's gonna
the way
electrocute
Ben Affleck flies through the air. It's just holy
It's
shit,
everywhere.
man.
There's a shot of Ben Affleck when he's on the motorcycle. It's a close up of his face.
Yeah.
And it's so bad. It looks like I'm looking at a PS4.
He looked a little
graphic.
weird.
Just
or
weird.
PS3.
It does look like video game cutscene, like bad video game cutscenes.
So it's unforgivable that they're doing like
mixed bag. Yes,
it's it just looks bad, and it like just like Justice League has that mustache thing.
Yeah.
It ruined the movie for me, and I couldn't like not think about anything but that.
Yeah,
it's doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's I think the Justice League is worse offense because it starts with him on that mustache, floaty face. Like that's how the fucking movie starts. I'm like, really? You didn't start out with this? You're already done.
Click on this is what I'm referring to. Click on that.
Okay,
because you'll see that picture.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
From the direct. Oh yes, the Flash director defends CGI scenes.
No, but that
just
that,
that moment. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't look right. Yeah, it doesn't.
Doesn't look good. I mean,
look good.
we know Ezra Miller's not that Jack. Get the fuck out of here.
It's when he's being attacked by the dark Flash or whatever. I mean, I thought the suit looked kind of cool in this version. You got the ring. You got the suit in the ring, which is kind of funny. It popped out.
He doesn't get into it.
No, he just lets
It's not
it fall.
movie magic if we don't buy it. You have to buy it.
Yeah. Okay. All
the
right.
suit's fine.
Yes,
but,
it's yeah. All right. Let's find out what our listeners thought in News from the Nation. It's time for News from the Nation.
It's time for News from the Nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Oh, guess what? I got something we haven't gotten in a while. I got a voicemail, a speak pipe.
Speak pipe.
Guess who it's from? I'll give you 3
is it
guesses.
Matty B or whatever?
I'm just gonna play it.
Double M.
What's up, Jock and Nerd Nation? It's the Speak Pipe King,
The Speak Pipe King,
Matthew Miller. I'm back again. I'm traveling through the Speed Force currently. It is 10:40 in Nashville, Tennessee. Just got out of watching The Flash. Whoa. So basically, if you take away, I think, all the Marvel movies and the level of greatness that they created, this movie was pretty good. I liked it a lot. Some of the CGI at times was not good. I don't know what happened there. Maybe they ran out of money. But other times, it was gorgeous. It looked phenomenal. I don't know. Barry Allen, Ezra Miller, minus all of his stuff off the in his personal life. Some of those jokes hit a little bit too close to home in the movie. I don't know. But damn, that movie I liked it a lot. It was cool. For what it was, not thinking about it too much, it was a fun movie. I want to go see it again to kind of process everything again. But yeah, who knows where they go from here? With James Gunn on board now with DC. So I don't know. It was fun. I liked it a lot. I'm a Flash boy. Jock and Nerd Nation, take care. Go see the movie. Support it. All right, guys.
All right, so
I'm a Flash boy.
He's a Flash boy. Yeah, there was that joke where he's like, the suit's really tight, but in my dick right here. It's like, this is kind of strange, funny joke. All right, Matt Miller liked it. Let's find out what other people thought. Wade Wilson just wrote, It was great in our Facebook group. Blake Braden, it was fine. Nostalgic cameos galore. I think this is like the 8th or 9th version of Flashpoint I've seen. It's almost impossible to mess up that storyline.
Well, they did.
They kind of did. I think I just don't like Ezra Miller as the Flash. I think I'm already getting burnt out on superhero multiverse movies and cameos just for the sake of cameos. Yeah, we've gotten so much of that. Multiverse and cameos. J. Ness Rhymes says Keaton, from the moment he appears in this film, is kicking major ass. His final fight against the Kryptonian was an awesome farewell moment. Bomb after bomb after bomb. Jeff Chapman, I really enjoyed it. Keaton's calm demeanor as Batman is unmatched. Love the emotions of Barry seeing his mom one last time. Only cameo that was missing was the CW's Flash. Totally wasn't expecting Clooney at the end. Daryl K says, my generic non-spoiler review. A lot of superhero movies in general would greatly benefit from smaller budgets, tighter, smaller stories, and a lot less reliance on CGI.
Absolutely.
So he kind of sums it up there. So it's, some people do enjoy it.
I've seen this.
Right? It's kind of crazy. But when you point out all the trash, you're like, yeah, it is, but there's trash in there. There's trash, but there's also some.
If you can get over the bad CGI, then there is a movie there for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I got some comments from our last episode when we reviewed RRR. Some interesting reactions. First of all, Nick Shev says RRR is better than all things Avatar. Oh,
he hates Avatar.
He does hate the Avatar, and I mean, I could argue that RRR could be better than the Avatar, maybe. David Zika gives us a recommendation, another decent Bollywood action movie. It's called Pathan. It's on Prime. Not as good as RRR, but still lots of ridiculous action and a memorable dance number, like a Bollywood James Bond. That sounds fun.
David Zika watches everything.
He does. This week on the he does watch a lot of things, and I love his recommendations and quick reviews on random shit that's on streaming services. But it's always good to know someone can watch it. Okay, over on our YouTube channel, this episode got a lot of reaction. It's an international podcast. We're discussing an international movie. So I just want to share some of these because the passionate viewers here. Sachin C says, also, they're going to mention some things that I said that sometimes I say things just to see if people are paying attention. I knew it was going to be problematic when I said certain things, and people are paying attention. This is what I'm talking about. Sachin C says, RRR is not a Bollywood movie. It is a Telugu language film which represents India. Bollywood.
Yeah, you fuck.
Bollywood only produces Hindi language movies. And I said, thanks for the clarification. Okay, you're right. But another guy said, Mayank Singh says Bollywood can't produce anything like RRR. And then Silver Rahul actually points out what I said. And I said, anything from India, I'm going to consider it Bollywood. He said, that is so wrong. That is like saying anything from East Asia, I'm going to consider it Chinese. Bollywood is not the same as Tollywood. They are distinct. They are not the same. They don't overlap. I'm glad these people have corrected me. This is very important because I did. And again, sometimes I say shit to see people paying attention. But they called me out, and
you stupid American.
And you're right. Tollywood and Bollywood are different, and so then we got other recommendations.
And Dollywood is
and
also.
then Dollywood is a completely different thing. Dolly Parton is a national treasure. Don't fuck with her.
Right.
Also, he said if we like RRR, people recommending Bahubali, which is also Rajamouli's movie. Amar Desmukh says watch Sardar Udham next. Pinku Balian says watch Vikram movie also. Dika Saputra wants us to review The Night Comes For Us. We've gotten a lot of requests about The Night Comes For Us. He says the film is more gory and more violent than the Raid franchise.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
And then another, Bold Truths commented, great review. I want to recommend to you a critic-proof Indian movie. Sardar Udham from 2021 is the best Bollywood movie ever made. IMDb 8.4, Rotten Tomatoes 94%. Mark my words, you will not forget this movie. It will break your stereotype regarding Indian movies that are only song and dance and fun. It will change your top 10 movie list of all times. It is a modern classic. You'll experience the new dimension of Indian cinema. An exceptional gem, he writes. Sardar Udham. Wow. Best story you never heard.
I have a comment.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Other than the 80s movies, it's been a while since we've gotten this level of views.
Yes.
On the YouTube. Jock and Nerd YouTube.
Yes.
And interaction.
Yes.
So we've gotten a lot of views pep times, but not much interaction.
Yeah, we sparked something.
So basically what I'm implying here is You know what our niche should be is just Americans reviewing these Indian language
action movies,
various
and getting things wrong or loving it, or just
whether they be Tollywood, Bollywood, whatever woods they got out there. That's the market we got.
No, we have it. There's a niche on YouTube because we've talked about internally on the show how the reviews of the 80s and 90s action movie episodes get a lot of views. People are looking for people reviewing like Cobra and fucking all this shit. And then
the interaction.
This interaction on RRR is the most interaction I've ever got on the YouTube fucking video. So there's something there, Anthony. We're gonna have to mine this. We're gonna follow.
We're gonna be the Americans reviewing movies from India.
Patan.
I think we do Patan next. We do all these. We're gonna get a huge dude. We got huge viewership over in India on our YouTube. That's what.
Now listen, all you people that are listening from India, like which movie have like boobs that we can see?
None of them. They don't make those in India. Now they're gonna
okay, get to work on that, Bollywood.
But also you only have seen Bollywood. Maybe, clearly you don't know shit about Tollywood.
Maybe Tollywood has boobs.
Does.
Yeah,
exactly.
Listener, let us know if you're a Tollywood fan. Is there boobs in Tollywood? I'd like to know. Although there was a lot of religious stuff in RRR, so I doubt it.
Oh,
but yes,
that's what's missing.
We're gonna follow this thread. We're gonna explore this niche to get our YouTube views up. It's a great idea. Okay, let's finish up with what are we watching, everyone? Anthony, you watch anything interesting?
Well, I've got to watch. I realized that I've really put this. I'm the guy I'm the kid in high school that is doing his homework at the very last minute with this upcoming tournament we have next week for the 21st century. I have to watch a shit ton of movies. I still have to watch 7 in a week, less than a week now.
Wait, so I think I have to watch 7 also. Can I propose something to you? What if we don't have time to watch? Are you going to watch them all? Do you think you'll be able to cover the list? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So in the off chance that maybe I don't get to see every movie, can I tag you in for the votes on a movie that I'm like, I did not watch this. I can't.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Can I use you as a proxy?
That's fine.
Phone a friend?
Yeah, it's a phone.
You can phone a friend.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
I would prefer you see the movies.
Yes,
but if you
me too. But if I just run out of time, I'm gonna try really hard. I was thinking about this. I may have to tag you in. Okay, good.
I would love that.
Okay,
but try to watch the movies.
I'm gonna try to watch all the movies. Yeah.
Because of this, I've watched 3 movies. In prep, I watched The Equalizer.
Oh, nice.
Which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah.
Denzel is awesome in anything.
Yeah.
And I like The Equalizer. It is like Home Alone at the end.
Yes.
In Walmart or
violent Home Alone.
Home Depot.
Yeah.
Home Depot.
Yeah.
But I like the movie.
Yeah.
I watched. What was the next one I watched yesterday? Fuck. What was that? Foreign language film. Shit. Well, I watched Atomic Blonde. That's not a foreign language film as well.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron. Great one-shot scene.
Oh, nice.
Plot's a little kind of confusing. It's like a spy thing going on that I was a little bit confused on, but very well shot for sure. And then I watched Apocalypto yesterday.
Oh shit, you did.
I liked Apocalypto.
Yeah.
Very much. Not like a huge action movie, but as far as setting and immersing you in something completely different, very well done. So
there's like no English in that movie, also, right?
Yeah, Mel Gibson can make a good movie.
He does.
About anything. He really does.
It's a good movie. It is a very good movie. It's all in Mayan.
Wow.
Very solid movie.
There's verisimilitude in that. It feels real.
Yes, it does.
And that's what you want.
Is that?
I'm glad you defined it because when you said verisimilitude, I said yes, not knowing what that
I don't know
meant.
what that word is.
Yep.
It looks real, so it feels
If I don't
real.
understand what it means, I'm going to take it as disrespect.
Fuck you with your big words. I caught up to one of the movies on our list. I watched Ip Man in 2008. It's on, what is it on? I think it's on Peacock.
I am an Ip Man.
It's on Netflix, too.
Oh, maybe it was Netflix. It is on Netflix.
Yeah.
Donnie Yen in this. It's based on a true story by the guy who actually, Bruce Lee trained with this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, the guy who, Wing Chun, who teaches Wing Chun, but takes place in the 20s. It's kind of a period piece during the Chinese-Japanese War, Japanese Empire, kind of occupy China, and so you learn a little bit of history, but fantastic fucking fight scenes between Donnie Yen and his opponents. Some, I think it's this one. There's a scene where there's like 20 dudes. It's everything.
Yep.
Where he's just, at the end, he's fucking fighting all these dudes at once. It's very good. It's a little slow in the middle. There's a lot of stuff with his family, but then the end picks up again. And I liked the whole like World War II kind of aspect of it. So that's good. Ruggs, what'd you watch?
I watched the entire series Bloodhounds on Netflix.
I saw this. What is this? This is a Korean show.
Yeah, it's a Korean show. It is about two boxers that become friends, and one of the boxers' mom owns a restaurant. Anyhow, because COVID, this is a COVID based thing.
Yeah,
it's all happening during COVID. So because COVID, everybody's businesses are like closing up and losing money, and so his mom like gets involved with a loan shark, and that creates a whole domino effect that now affects these two new friends, and they end up having to become kind of vigilantes, and they meet up with some other vigilantes, and they try and take down this really fucking evil dude down. And it's like remember that video game Streets of Rage?
Yeah.
Where they just two guys that just beat the shit out of everybody.
Like Double Dragon or something.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. But it's also probably the most homoerotic thing I've ever seen. But I couldn't stop watching.
You watched the whole 10 episode or 8 or however long it is?
Remember how we watched RRR and it was like little homoerotic?
Yeah.
And that scene where they're friends and they're like doing things together. Yeah. These guys are like naked all the time together. They're like working out together. They're like hugging each other, staring in each other's eyes. But they're best friends. It's like a bromance. But I mean, like it's a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. But it's fucking good. I really liked it. I dug it. I was watching. I couldn't stop watching it.
So after you told me that after Ip Man, I did check out the first episode of Bloodhounds. There is a fantastic fight at the end of that first episode where he's got
the first episode it takes a lot.
It took a little while to set up. Yeah, but there's a scene where he's fighting like 10 dudes at once.
I have a small problem with the show, and that is it keeps recycling the same bad guy. You think that okay, they're gonna kill him this time. They're gonna fucking kill this dude, because this dude's a big pain in the ass. They just gotta fucking kill this guy. But I think that their code is they don't kill people.
Okay.
So this guy is he always comes back. I'm like, how many times is this guy gonna come back?
It's like in the comic books where they never kill the villains. They come back. All right.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool.
All right.
The last episode is a little bit of it ends abruptly, a little too quick, and not as satisfying as an ending as I'd liked, but I did enjoy the ride.
Bloodhounds on Netflix. No, I enjoyed that first episode. I got to watch these other movies, but I'm going to go back and finish it.
Did you feel in the first episode it was a little bit too romantic?
Well, between the two guys, they definitely have a bromance. I mean, it's a boxing movie, right? So they're in the gym. They fucking have the tops off. They're hitting people. They got adrenaline pumping. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
But their friendship was cute.
I think they're from the 100 too. I think these two actors are, I believe so. Otherwise I'm just being really racist by saying that.
Jesus Christ.
But I feel like I've seen them before. That's why.
No, but in the one there may have been actors in the 100, but those are all different professions and actual people. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'll look it up later. Black Mirror season 6 is out. I was only able to watch the first episode called Joan is Awful. It's really good. It's a very.
What are you doing watching other shit?
I know. I need to watch these movies, but I was torn.
Action movies to watch.
Because Extraction 2 came out, and then I was like, fuck, I want to watch that. We have to watch that at some point.
We will.
Black Mirror, I love. I'm like, I got to check out at least one episode of Black Mirror. It is a amazing meta commentary on Netflix and TV shows and AI. This first episode, it's very good, and there's only 5 episodes this season. But I got to catch up. Then I watched Ip Man, and then I also watched Star Trek: Strange New Worlds season 2 that came back. But there's just too many things.
You know you have homework, right?
And I watched that Stan Lee documentary, and I got to do my homework.
Yeah, that's why you never get to
I know. I'm like,
you're watching everything else.
With Black Mirror.
To be fair, I watched Bloodhounds.
Yeah, he watched the whole fucking Korean series.
But I think you've seen it. I think Ruggs has seen all the movies.
Yeah.
Fine.
Imran, you haven't seen all the movies, right?
I probably have like 7 left too. That's why I proposed the tag-in rule.
I
just
understand.
in case.
I understand.
Anyways, that's it.
We're going to talk offline about this.
We'll figure this out.
I'm going to slap you around.
But if you're looking for stuff to watch this week, like I said, Extraction 2 is out. Secret Invasion also starts this week with its first episode on Disney+. The Rotten Tomatoes Secret Invasion score right now is 66% with 56 reviews. So I'm looking forward to Secret Invasion. That is, we're gonna have to stop and watch that, but then we'll talk about that later after the tournament.
We'll talk about it.
We'll catch up all that other stuff. So, point is, there's a lot of stuff to watch. Get to work, everyone. That's it for this week. Thanks for listening, Ruggs. Where can the listener find you online?
Twitter, really Rug Boy.
I got that link to his Twitter, our Twitter, all in our episode description. Instagram, Facebook. You can email us. Leave a voice message like Maddie Miller, Voice Speak Pipe King. I love hearing those. And most importantly, share the show. Spread the geekery. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's a nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
That's a big fuck up right there.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
Floppy Jock.
Jock and Nerd.